Welcome to Interactive Programming Studio.
This is your start page, where you can create new projects or open previously saved project files. On top is the main toolbar, where you can find basic project management functions. And on the top right, some additional useful features. Below is the status bar, where you can always see information about your currently open project and some useful hints. You can create different types of projects, or open existing projects, created and saved in previous sessions.
Let's create a new console application.
We see above the project folder, and we set our project's name and click Enter. This is the container editor. Containers can hold many elements and other containers. On the right is the palette, with all available components. Enumeration definition is a static list of names with corresponding numerical values. Structure definition contains pairs of name and value members. Each named member can be simple type, array, or another custom definition. Simple variables can be Boolean, integer, floating point number, or string. Enumeration variable is an instance of already defined enumeration definition. Structure variable is also an instance of already defined structure model. Array variable allows to handle dynamic list of non-fixed length that hold simple variables or structures. Sequence reference variable is a safe pointer to already defined functional sequence. Sequence is a coherent behavioral unit of algorithmic steps that represent a well-defined program function.
Now we are going to add one component of each type. Note that these are grouped for visual clarity. Elements such as containers can be explored by pressing the Enter key. To go back one level, use the backspace key. To edit an element, use F2 or Enter key. Move between different properties with arrow keys, or Tab key. To edit a property, use Enter.
After changes are complete, you can confirm the modification with Enter key. All changes are instant.
Escape key will close the property editor.
Let's modify our enumeration definition. And we can give a proper name to our structure model. We are still working on structures member editing though. To select variable type and other parameters, hold Ctrl and use the arrow keys. Navigation is done with arrows, or Tab. Remember to use Enter in order to start editing properties. Enumeration variable has to be of a certain definition. These are selected from a drop-down list by using the Enter key. Same for the structure variables. Array variable is either a value or structure type. When a structure type is selected, the definition has to be set with the drop-down list. Let's modify the name of the sequence we added previously. We are still working on sequence parameters editing though.
Note how each element is now indicated as modified. Welcome to the sequence editor. To get back to the container, use the backspace key. We see above the details about this sequence and its parameters. Below is our work panel, where we can add different steps to the sequence. Declaration step is where you can specify a local variable. Use assignment to modify local or global variable with a variety of expressions. Deal location is used to release complex variables, such as structure instances or arrays. Array action step allows you to add or remove variables into a dynamic array. Branch is a well-known step that is essentially an if operator in most languages.
Loop with precondition should be used for executing a conditional block of steps. The condition is evaluated at the beginning of each iteration. Counting loop is similar to precondition loops, but just adds a counter variable to be used in the loop's body. Console output step allows for writing literals and formatted variables onto the default screen. Call step is where you can invoke another sequence with certain arguments. Return step is used if you want to break the sequence execution and return a constant or variable as a result parameter.
We are now going to add each type of step using the shortcut keys. To modify a placeholder, just use Enter or Space key. To create a local variable, select a variable type from this list and use Enter. Escape key will close the list with no selection applied.
We can now use this local variable in our assignment step.
There are a number of expression types that could be selected. Let's use the constant. Let's have a binary operator in this branch condition. We're gonna reference a variable here. Set the desired condition. And again, select a constant value. Now, we could try to add a call to another sequence. To add an else clause, use the Control and plus key. To remove an empty else clause, use the Control and minus key. We are going to add some calls in the next loops. If we need to delete a step, use the Control and Delete key.
This pre-alpha release still has lots of limitations for composing more complex sequences. Expect more exciting features in the next version.
Let's load one of our example console applications, a simple command line tool, to show the content of a CSV file. To create the C code and compile the application, we just hit the Compile button. After code has been produced, we see that here are no errors from the configured external compiler. The application executable file is already compiled and built. We can now start the application by hitting the Start button.
IPS would open a command line and start the application, but since it requires an input CSV file, we're gonna try it in the console.
The application seemed to work with no issues.
We can also check that both the source C file and the executable are in this output directory. We can open the source file for this IPS application and examine its source code format. As you can see, it looks very close to a general-purpose programming language, with several elements added to accommodate more metadata and properties. Yet the source format is not cluttered as a common data storage file, such as JSON or XML.